Could you walk me through a typical day that you experience there?
Sure. They wake you up probably about 6:30 in the morning. You have breakfast at 7, depending where you're housed, because there's many different locations. The LA County Jail System is quite large. There's many facilities, and they're all structured differently.
Which facility were you at?
Several. Several of the facilities. If we were in the Men's Central Jail facility, which is their downtown LA facility, most of that is cell living. So your meals are brought to you. You don't ever leave the cell for the most part. And so in the morning they'll come by, they'll give you breakfast, which was usually prepared hours beforehand. And so it's kind of cold and everything's ran together on a styrofoam chain. It's not quite appetizing. And then you typically at the same time they hand you a little sack, which is your lunch. And that's what you're supposed to wait for. What we would do is stay up all night and try to sleep throughout the day because there really wasn't anything to do. They don't let you out for any type of activities if you're in the cell. So we'd be up all night, they bring breakfast, we chow on the breakfast. Sometimes I just eat the breakfast and lunch and try to sleep as much of the day as possible because there really was nothing to do. In a 4-man cell, there's only 4 people in there. There's a phone in there, but you can't use it because it's really expensive and you'll run up a gigantic bill for your friends and family really fast. So it's I would make a phone call maybe once every 2 weeks just to check in with family, make sure everything was fine. If you had money and if you had anything like that, there was drugs and alcohol available. But for the most part, you didn't partake. Why would you want to party when you're in a place like that? Sit there throughout the day. Here comes dinner. Have your dinner, and then you learn how to play a lot of different card games. I read quite a few books. I'd reading books, basically gotten through a lot of that, just blowing through. I'd read a 500-page novel in 2.5 days. And that's about it. It was very, very dull. If you had nowhere to go, they only let you out of that cell for a shower probably once every 3 or 4 days. That was when you got out to bathe. And then if you had months before your next court date, you could sit in there perpetually in that cell and not go anywhere. You're supposed to be able to go out to the exercise yard, which is a bunch of BS because it's this little caged-in place on the roof of the county jail, and all you can basically do is walk in circles and get a little bit of fresh air for a half hour, and that's it. So most of the time, just because I was the minority and I had no backup or protection, I wouldn't go just because it was a dangerous place for me to be. If there was other fellow white people involved and we could walk around and realize that we had somewhat protection, we would go out and get some sun. But most of the time, it was just you're in that cell 24 hours a day, and that was it. That was the extent of it.